Here you go. Welcome. I guess we only got you and Cecilia at the moment. Maybe more people pop up. Maybe not. Who knows? But welcome to the last tasting number 12 of Beauj Box 2026. We did it, y'all. I can't believe we did it for 12 weeks every week. For a lot of you, it's two tastings per week. But anyways, we're wrapping it all up with this guy. 2022 JP Brun Cote de Brouilly. Terre Doré is the name of his winery, but JP Brun is the name of Jean-Paul Brun is the name of the winemaker. Um, yeah, sorry. Also, apologize about, and you pointed this out, Terry and Cecilia. Actually, two people who pointed out that I sent out the wrong email reminder is actually on the call, which just tells me who pays attention to my email. But yeah, sorry about the sending out the wrong reminder. It was supposed to be this, but I sent out
For
the wrong.
me, it was more, I didn't know you got fortified wine in Beaujolais.
Yeah, fortified Beaujolais. What? Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, here we are. What's up, Andrea? Uh, all right. Well, let's start with the map because we always do. Where we share. Where's the share button? Not here. It's weird. Like my setup for my weekly Zoom that I do versus the setup for Bosch, like the buttons are at different places. It's kind of weird. But anyways, here we are. All right. Here's a map of France. Should look pretty familiar to all of you by now. You've seen this many, many times. Many, many, many times. And where we are is this Beaujolais, right? Little pink area at the tip of Burgundy. And if you look more closely, so we've gone through all the crews, the 10 crews, starting from Santa Maur and going all the way down. And then we're finally right here, this blue area, Cote de Brouilly, which is completely encapsulated, where it's inside Brouilly. And Brouilly was where we were last week. And what makes a difference between Cote de Brouilly and Brouilly, and I talked about this last week as well, but it's kind of to me, it's one of the most intriguing two crews to taste back to back or side by side. I mean, obviously, we have the queen of Beaujolais, Fleury, and the king of Beaujolais, which is Moulin So very different soil types, very different expression, right? Moulin tends to be, because all that manganese running through, it's granite, it tends to get much darker. Expression, and then you go to Fleury, and because of all that pink granite, it becomes really bright, lifted, pretty. I mean, even hence the name Fleury, a lot of floral kind of accent, ethereal kind of thing running through. So it's a fun thing to taste side by side. And next to that is really Brouilly and Cote de Brouilly. It's what makes it really fun to taste. And what makes the difference is essentially, if you look down in the soil type, this is Brouilly, and then you see how much of it is just mostly the pink granite that runs through. But once you get to Cote de Brouilly, you don't really see much pink granite. I mean, you do see some of it on the western slopes, but really in the middle of it, we're talking about this green area. This is all volcanic, basalt and volcanic rocks. So very different kind of soil types, and obviously because it shoots up. By the way, this is a Cote de Brouilly, the soil type. As you can see, is pretty much all kind of volcanic. There's some granite running through. Don't get me wrong. It's not like there's no granite, but there's definitely volcanic is what runs it through. And this is kind of what it looks like. So this is the Mont Brouilly, which is that kind of volcanic, inactive volcano that shoots up in the middle of Brouilly. And all the kind of vineyards surrounding it in the mid slope is kind of Cote de Brouilly. And then once you come down lower onto the parts is basically Brouilly. Also, the soil type changes in Brouilly is more of like a sandy kind of a soil, clay. There's some schist in there as well. Of course, the pink granite. And then, of course, here it's the volcano. So again, the expression changes completely. So in Brouilly, it's more of that kind of approachable, um, lighter, brighter, red berry driven, that kind of poppy Beaujolais that we talk about. Cote de Brouilly becomes much more darker, much more tannic, much more structures, more quote unquote age-worthy and serious. So a very different kind of expression. Not that one is better than the other, but that's what makes it different. It's a bit of a high elevation. It gets up to 1,600 feet. Volcanic soil is what makes this crew unique and special. Um, but yeah, in general, of course, we're talking in generality here, right? Obviously, the brewery that we had last week is a little bit. Even said this during tasting, which is a little atypical. It's not the typical brewery that we find. It was much darker. It was a little more tannic than you normally find. So obviously, depending on where you are, depending on who the producer is, the stylistically it could change. But in general, just know that brewery is more of that red berry, red fruit driven, approachable, drink it while it's youthful kind of wine. And the Cote Brewery is a darker, more tannic, structured, age-worthy, and that kind of wine. This is also the soil type that kind of looks different, right? Breweries that kind of decompose the granite, much smaller thing. And the Cote de Brie, as you can see, is much bigger, blacker, darker, kind of a rocky soil. So yeah, volcanic soil, decomposed granite is what we have here. Much sandier, right? As you can see. Um, let's talk about who makes this wine. So this is J.P. Brun, Jean-Paul Brun. He just looks like such a, I don't know, maybe he looks a little creepy here, but like, I don't know. He looks like he would be a nice guy. Internationally recognized, award-winning producer, very, very, very well-known name, not just in Beaujolais, but in all of Burgundy and all of in France. He's a very well-respected winemaker. He's located in the town of Charnay. It's a village in the southern Beaujolais, so he's actually way far away from Cru Beaujolais. Just north of Lyon is where he is. But there, that area, particularly the southern Beaujolais, but even the very southern part of it towards Lyon, there, right there, they have a soil type called Terre Dorée, which is the name of this winery. It's the golden stone or yellow stone is what they're known of. Land of golden stone is what it's known for, and then he named his winery after that. So that's where his winery is, and that's where his operations are based out of. But his whole story is like a man of a self-made man who built his empire. He started with only just 4 hectares of vines, and he basically essentially created his own empire. Now he now farms over 60 hectares of family estate. And then he makes wines in 6 different crews, I believe. It's maybe 7 different crews. So yeah, he's a bit of a he's expanded quite a bit at this point. He also makes sparkling wine. He also makes Beaujolais Blanc, and he's just kind of he was only making Beaujolais, just kind of southern regional Beaujolais, for a long time. And in 2000, he decided to go out there and really start getting into different crews. And he's been able to expand. He makes 20 different wines in 6 different appellations now. What makes Jean-Paul Brun unique and different from the rest of Beaujolais is that he uses solely Burgundian method. Meaning, when you're saying Burgundian method, what we're talking about is first destemming. So if you're doing carbonic maceration, the grapes have to be whole cluster, right? So you basically neatly stack whole cluster berries on top of each other gently, so you're not to crush them. And then you either put a blanket of CO2 or just put a cap on it. And then the enzymatic, intercellular fermentation starts from the inside the grape berries. It comes out, bursts, goes out, and then juice kind of flows down through those big spaces that are left by the stems and gets to the bottom. And that's kind of how carbonic works. So in order to do a real full carbonic or a proper carbonic, you need those stems in there. But in Burgundy, and of course now there's a huge split in the school of thought, even in Burgundian winemaking. So there are a lot of winemakers in Burgundy who've gotten full whole cluster and they believe in whole cluster fermentation. But really, traditionally speaking, in Burgundy, when they fermented Pinot Noir, it was destemmed. So he uses destemming. So he destems all his Gamay grapes. He doesn't put any carbonic on it. He basically essentially crushes it right away and then lets the wines macerate. So there's no carbonic on any of his wines, not just in Cote de Brie, but in any of his all the other crus that he makes wines in. So that's what makes it unique. It's a good wine to kind of get your head wrapped around like what carbonic does, all that kind of high tone lifted fruit that we talk a lot about, that kind of a candied fruit note that we talk a lot about in carbonic maceration. You don't get much of that here. This is much more very pure kind of a macerated fruit that we get. Um, so what is this wine? By the way, Cote de Brouilly was Jean Paul's first cru bottling. So this is his kind of a flagship cru bottling. 100% Gamay with a age ranging from 40 to 55 years, planted on east-facing slopes, midway up a steep slope on Mont Brouilly. From what I've found on the website, some of these slopes reach up to like 45-degree grade. So we're talking about very, very steep slope. Obviously, machine harvesting is not possible, so everything's done by hand. His vinification is complete Burgundian, so destemmed, sorted, destemmed, and then crushed and fermented, no carbonic maceration using indigenous yeast only. And then he macerates the berries for 3 to 4 weeks, which sounds like a lot, but believe it or not, it is his Côte de Brouilly is actually, and Fleury are the shortest amount of maceration in all of his lineups. And all of that is done in concrete vats. And then he continues to age them for 6 to 8 months in concrete vats after the fermentation is done. And then he bottles it unfiltered, unfined, with just a touch of sulfur is what this wine is. Any questions about any of that? Excellent. Well, let's taste the wine. Given there are only a few of you on there, you guys could probably all take one section at a time and then do it. But who wants to take the appearance? Is that you, Terry and David? They're volunteering? Excellent.
Okay. So right about, I don't even know what to. We have a white cutting board. This wine is clear.
This wine is clear.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like fine clear, but this wine is clear. It's not translucent, but it's clear for sure.
Um, I'd say it's medium in intensity.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll call this about
And I would
medium.
call it medium plus.
Yeah, maybe going on to medium plus. It's like somewhere between medium and deep. Like I won't go all the way to deep. It's not completely opaque through, but it's got some color. So medium to medium plus. Yeah.
And then for color, I call it kind of ruby.
Yeah,
Purple to
I'll
ruby.
call this ruby as well. I'll call this ruby. Yeah, maybe a purple tinge, but mostly ruby is what I'll call it. Any other observations?
Um, Not really.
Yeah,
At
not
this
really.
point.
No sediments, no bubbles. Yeah.
No, looks pretty. It looks pretty clean and clear, and
Yep.
for the most part.
Exactly.
So,
Perfect. You get to pick the next person for the nose.
Terry.
I'm stopped up from allergies. So I can't smell anything.
How convenient. right.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
right?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Can you hear us, Cecilia?
I'm sorry, we were putting food away and not paying attention. What?
We're
Nose?
pretty two Beaujolais in.
Yeah.
evening, so
Andrea came earlier and we were catching up because I was
Perfect.
looking behind.
This
I'm
is gonna-
sorry. Nose?
This is gonna be even better. You guys are nominated for nose.
Nose. Okay. We had a big spread of cheese and things. Anyway, nose. I would say medium to medium plus.
This one is this clean? First one?
Oh,
Almost?
yeah. It smells clean.
Yeah, one is clean, one is sound. Intensity. Okay.
I think I'm gonna go medium.
Yeah, I feel like not quite medium plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put my nose
Same.
in there more.
I feel
like
like I'm
good.
like an inch off the glass.
I don't know, maybe my nose
not
is broken
here.
from that very
Um,
rocky one.
Yeah, maybe like 1 or 2 inches. So yeah, high end of medium, low end of medium plus. Yeah, somewhere around there. Aromas, ooh, pretty good.
So I feel like I get some violet,
Yep. Definitely got some violet.
maybe rose.
Mm. Yep. A lot of purple bluish flower thing kind of for me, like blue iris.
Very
violet.
floral.
No green fruit.
No green fruit,
I don't think I get any citrus fruit either.
no citrus.
Maybe like strawberry.
Do you get any stone fruit?
Maybe a little bit of like
Apricot? Or is it because I just ate it? Maybe it's because I just ate a dried out apricot.
Yeah, not much stone fruit for me, or
I
tropical.
feel like red fruits. Definitely red
Get
fruits.
some red
Yeah.
fruit. Okay. You think this is more red fruit driven than black fruit driven?
To me,
I think
it is
more red for
yeah,
me.
more red.
So to me, this is much more black fruit driven. Like I get
Really?
a lot, yeah, I get more of like a blackberry, black cherry.
The
Uh,
one earlier was so black fruit.
I mean, I don't know which two Beaujolais you guys had before this.
We did the
But-
Morgon and
Okay.
The really rocky
the
smelling one.
Regine
Rainier.
Rainier, that one.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys had both that were like a little bit. I mean, Rainier is a little more red fruit, but Morgon was definitely much more black fruit as well. But in general, Cote de Brouilly, like I was saying, like the brewery tends to be a lot more red fruit. Cote de Brouilly tends to be a lot darker and blacker. And to me, this is exactly that. Like I get some of that black cherry, blackberry here. I do get some red fruit, more like a maybe red plum. But like it's to me, this is not like a poppy, cranberry, raspberry, strawberry that you find in like Santa Moore and other places in Florida or anything like that.
I feel like I can't smell anymore after that very gravelly smelling one we just had.
Nature of the fruit.
It smells really fresh to me.
Yeah, very fresh,
Yeah.
very ripe.
Not jammy,
Mhm.
really.
Yeah, it's like a really perfect ripeness. And to me, this is the difference. So there's no carbonic on this. Like the fruit quality here is what I expect, like just wine to be like the wines without carbonics. Like the carbonics tends to have that kind of like high tone lifted fruit. And then I don't get any of that here. Like to me, this is very much of that actual fruit itself.
That's what I felt when we first opened it. Remember, I
Mhm.
said, this is really fruity.
Yeah, absolutely. Any herbaceous, any herbal?
I feel like I get a little
A little.
like tomato leaf or something, maybe
I get
Like-
something savory here. Yeah,
a little
I get a little bit of-
something.
Like-
Yeah.
I get like to me like I see it as like a black licorice or something, but like yeah, there's something savory here that's not fruit or flower.
Thyme.
Any spice, any rockiness?
After the last one, I can't smell any rockiness.
I feel like I
Uh,
smell a little
A little
little
bit.
flinty.
A little flinty,
Yeah,
sweetie.
Yeah.
exactly. I get even a little like a smoky, like yeah, there's definitely some
Yeah.
crushed rock kind of a sort, like a rockiness running through for sure. And that's what you would
Do you
expect from Cote de Brouilly for sure.
Do you get black pepper? Or am I making that up?
I also just ate a shit ton of black pepper, so maybe. Yeah, maybe like a touch or two, like a turn or two of cracked black pepper.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, maybe that's like the licorice black pepper or something around that level.
Could
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Any secondary, any tertiary?
I don't taste. I don't
Very
smell. I don't smell any.
Fresh smelling.
Yeah.
Exactly. To me, this is very fresh, very primary, still up there. Cool. Well, you get to pick the next person for the palette. And I think we all know who's going to take the palette.
I think we know who's getting voluntold. Right.
Who could it be?
Right.
So the
Is
sweetness.
Definitely dry.
This is
Yeah.
bone dry. There's
Yeah.
no sugar in this whatsoever.
Acids.
That's it.
Was up there.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's like between medium plus. I don't get.
I'm
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not fully ready to commit to medium plus yet, but like, yeah, it's definitely a high end of medium here. And then it's that elevation. Like here, just getting up that elevation, give it that more diurnal shift. Cote de Brouilly tends to even beyond that stylistic difference of a red fruit, approachable, youthful Brouilly versus darker, blacker, more tannic Cote de Brouilly. Besides that, the acid level is just ever so slightly higher in Cote de Brouilly than it is in Brouilly because of the elevation change. Alcohol.
We didn't do the
We didn't do tannin.
Mm.
It's
It's
it's got
Right,
some
tannin, right?
it's
Got
pretty
some grip.
grippy. Yeah. At
Got
least
some grip.
medium.
Yeah, I'll call this about medium as well. And again, that's very, very common for Cote de Brouilly. Cote de Brouilly just tends to be much more tannic than Brouilly. But yeah, I'll call this about medium as well. Alcohol.
Mm, we're gonna say like maybe 12.5.
yeah, I'm
Like
gonna say
under
13.
13, under
I'm gonna say
13.
13.
Yeah, I was thinking like 12.5, 13, somewhere around there. 12.5. So right on the medium. Body.
I always say I can't do alcohol, and then I guess
And then
I
you
get
get it
right
right.
on the nose. Um, body,
Body.
I think medium.
2%.
Yeah, like lower in the medium. It's not like super heavy, but it's just not nothing. So yeah, I'll call this about medium as well. No moves, so we don't have to talk about that. Flavor intensity.
I'm gonna say medium minus.
Medium minus.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Is
say
that
medium
me?
plus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Things
To
are
me,
not
this is like right on the nose as
happening
well.
to
What
me.
Cecilia was talking
Might
about. It's
be
like,
me.
yeah, right in that kind of medium to medium plus cusp to me. Um, yeah, I hesitate to commit all the way to medium plus, but definitely high in the medium, low in the medium plus is kind of what I would call. Now, do you confirm everything that Cecilia and Andrea called out? Is there anything else that stick out to you?
No, we were tracking.
Yeah. I feel like there's a bit more it's a bit more earthy on the palate.
Agreed. I was gonna say there's a lot more minerality coming through for me. There's also a bit of a phenolic bitterness here. There's a touch more of it, and to your point about being medium tannin being lifted. With a high tannin, you're always gonna get a little bit of bitterness. It just tannins are bitter. So I see some of that coming through, not to a point where it's like interfering with other things, but I definitely get like a touch of bitterness here at the end, phenolic bitterness. And then the minerality is what really, really sticks out to me, more on the palate than it is on the nose.
Yeah, for sure.
And then how about the fruit character, what we're talking about? There seems to be a little bit of disagreement on the fruit. To you, is this more black fruit driven? Is this red fruit driven? How's it expressing itself to you?
Definitely black fruit.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, even more so on the palate. I feel like I get a lot more
Yeah.
black fruit than the red fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And finally, the length. How long is the finish?
Like medium plus. I mean, I think it's got a long finish.
Yeah.
Long upon the chart, but
I'm at medium. I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong with my palate tonight. Because I was gonna say medium minus on the tannin. Like I was not, or light. I would not, it's not happening. Something's amiss with my
That's
palate.
all right.
it's a pretty good finish.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
got
I
some length
also
on it.
I have Wednesday's wine in my like comparatively, right? Like Wednesday was like full bodied, really
Mhm.
long finish, like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like
I mean,
comparing.
I feel like everything here is like right as the intensity. It's like I'm not quite ready to commit to like a full-on medium plus, but it's like definitely right on the border of medium plus. It's like high end of medium, low end of medium plus is kind of where we are. And then I feel that way with the finish as well. It's definitely not short, but yeah, it's definitely like right in that long medium, low medium plus is kind of where we are. All right, bring it home for us. How good is this wine? Justify it. Would you rate it?
Okay, so intensity, we said medium to medium plus.
Mhm.
Um,
Complexity.
complexity is like medium, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
agreed.
yeah. Since it's mostly black fruit
Yep.
and um it's it's balanced. Um, but it's a like it's not as I mean, to me it's a little bit like it's heavier on the tannin and then that's got that little bit of whatever you called it, phenolics, like that little bit.
Phenolic bitterness. Yeah.
Yeah, that to me makes me not rated as
Mm,
balanced as usual, but
okay.
I I would defer to you on that.
So it's
I
good.
mean, I don't know. You guys make like. Do you think the bitterness here is so upfront that it's kind of interfering with you experiencing other things? I get a little bit of it at the end. Like, it's not like so bitter that I'm like,
It's more in the
yeah,
after
exactly.
finish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the end, yeah, back end
Yeah.
of it.
But I mean,
Um,
you've got the acid, you've got the tannin, so yeah, I mean it's pretty balanced, but it's to me it's
yeah,
a little bit like it's a little bit off.
Not quite very
Yeah.
good. Is that what you're
yeah. I think that's a perfectly sound critique, right? It's like I wish there was a little more maybe fruit, maybe like the intensity of the fruit was a little bit bigger, so the bitterness is kind of more balanced. But at the current kind of medium to medium plus intensity, the bitterness tends to stick out a little bit more in this wine. I think that's a perfectly sound critique of the wine. Um,
And then the finish we said was like between medium, medium plus. So basically everything's in that kind of between medium, medium plus, which would put it between good
good
and very good.
Correct. So if you're generous, call it very good. If you're feeling stingy, call it good. But being a generous taster that we are, or I am, I'm going to call this very good. Would you age this?
Um, yeah, I think you could age it. I don't think, I mean, I feel like with Beaujolais, you don't want to age it for too long.
2 to 3 years?
I was going to say 3 to 5.
I was gonna go with 3 to 5 on this thing because we have a decent backbone, right? We got medium to medium plus acid, medium to medium, medium tannin, so decent backbone, intensity medium to medium plus, and then the only thing that we were in medium on was the complexity, right? And then the thing about this wine is that like to me this is not like so fresh, so poppy, and that's not what makes this wine delicious. You know what I mean? That like all these different kind of layers that are in there, some of that kind of flinty, smoky thing, a little bit but there's like plenty of fruit, but there's also tannin, there's structure, there's texture to the wine. So by aging in, maybe some of that medium to medium plus intense fruits will change into some of the non-fruit things, adding a little more complexity, making it a little more interesting. So I think this is an interesting candidate for aging. And in general, Cote Brewery is one of the crews that can age. So knowing that, I would say exactly 3 to 5 years. I say pick a couple bottles, come back in 2 to 3 years, and then taste it, see how it goes, and then taste another one in like 5 is what I would say about this one. But one thing I do want to mention about the tasting is that, like, even when we're talking about the character of the fruit, we never talked about, high toned or candied fruit. And a lot of that is because this is the Burgundian method. There's no carbonic on this whatsoever. So the fruit character is completely different. And it's something to notice from last week or the rest of the Beauj that we've been tasting. So this is what happens when there's no carbonic on Beaujolais. And I mean, do you guys like this kind of style of Beaujolais, or do you like carbonic on your Beaujolais? Do you like that kind of bright poppy kind of a thing, or do you like this much more not only the darker fruit, but the expression of the fruit is different here, right? It's like it's much more fresher and riper, like actual fruit and riper.
I don't
What's
know.
a prime example of the carbonic? Like a more
So this year it would have been Santamore was a full carbonic. The Pauline Paso Chenas was a full carbonic this year. Beaujolais, the very first one we had, was a full carbonic. Um, Most of them are at least semi-carbonic to carbonic. Only two were Burgundian, which was this and Migodar, which is a Morgon. Actually, I always thought Migodar was Burgundian, but turns out Migodar is actually doing semi-carbonic now. So this is the only Burgundian. Everything else is mostly semi-carbonic, except for Chenas, Santamore, and Beaujolais. Those are full carbonic this year.
And
If you
we
can,
always love the Morgon, but that is more to do with the soil
yeah,
than,
yeah.
than with anything.
But Morgon was
Love
semi-carbonic.
anything that is grown in
Volcanic.
volcanic soil.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Did you guys like this, by the way?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
very
different.
like. I was saying it's straightforward. It's juicy. There's a little
Yeah.
weird. Maybe it's just me, but I get there's a little bit of weirdness on the top of it that I get on the nose. I was telling Terry, I was like, I almost feel like I get a touch of like Chinese five spice, and he's like, no, that's just our janky cabinet. So I don't know. It's getting in the glass, but there's like a little weirdness to it.
Maybe you're calling it five spice. Cecilia and Andrea, they're calling it the black pepper. I was calling it black licorice, but I think we're all agreeing there's some level of like non-fruit, something savory that's happening
Actually,
here.
that sews it together, doesn't it? Yeah, there's a little something on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, like I was calling it black licorice, but yeah, it could be maybe that's what we're all expressing, but just interpreting a different way for different people. But yeah, there's definitely some sort of like a savory layer here for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
It's just a touch of mystery, so it's not just juice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of his wines, and I don't know, especially as you are tasting through, when you're doing kind of a geeky dive into dive like Beauj box, I think it's always good to have fun to taste something that's made in a completely different way. And this is not carbonic. This is full Burgundian, full maceration method. So this was an excellent candidate for that, as well as even though it's like atypical for what Beaujolais usually is. So, anyways, cool. Let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf?
25 to 27, maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah, 25, 27. Anyone else? 28. Kirsten? Catherine?
Sorry.
Sorry, we were talking about the World Cup.
That's okay. How much do you think this wine is?
35.
32.
35. 32. All right. It's a bit over.
I mean, both
This
of them
one,
are expensive.
yeah, it's getting expensive.
I felt
This-
28, but I didn't say it out loud. Just in case that's right.
This on a retail shelf would be $30. And I think this is exactly what $30 Cru Beaujolais would taste like these days. Yeah. Back in the day, this was 5 years ago, I'd be like, $30, that's crazy. But now I'm like, $30, it seems very reasonable. No. Yeah, when we started this White Club, when we started this Beauj box, first Beauj box, I would be like, there's no way I'd pay $30 for that. But now I'm like, makes sense. Okay. Yep.
Wasn't the first Beauj box like $300 maybe?
Yep.
It was
It
really
might have been even less than $300. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah. It was yeah, inflation is real. Inflation is real. Cool. Any questions about this wine or any other wines during Beauj box or anything else? Or non-Beauj?
Mhm.
We just drank it, but it's probably we're pretty obsessed with the Morgon that was in the box this year.
Yeah,
It's
Migodar.
really
Yeah,
good.
that's a good one.
And then we're joking about how we're bougie because we didn't know that it was expensive until the end of the recording, and I was like, oh, because we're bougie.
Yeah, it is the most, if not the second most expensive bottle of the box, for sure.
I haven't had the other expensive one
It was
yet.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really delicious.
Fleury and Morgon
I'm
this
very
year.
behind on the Beauj box this year.
Yeah. Do you guys? I don't know. For those of you who've tasted most of them, I assume that none of you has tasted all of them at this point. But was there any standout, or was there any bottle you were like, oh, this is weird? I did not like that. One or the other.
We
Or
drunk enough of them, but we
No.
did divide them up a little bit. And
okay.
I was like, like with the Shayna, I was like, I'll take the Chanel because it's always funky. You don't do funky,
I'll
and
do,
like,
I'll do Barnyard.
we know kind of what we like. We've done the Morgon. We were trying to figure out what
Love the Morgon.
we always love Morgon.
Morgon is
I mean,
good.
honestly, I don't think I've ever met a Beaujolais I don't like. I can't think of there ever being one that I didn't like.
Good. Good.
It's definitely a sweet spot for me.
Such a crowd pleaser. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like
same.
yeah, Beaujolais
People
is
don't
like
really order it because they think of it as like that fruity one, whatever. What's
the
that guy's
Beaujolais
name?
Nouveau.
Yeah. Like people, that's what they think of with Beaujolais.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like I'm seeing more Cru Beaujolais on wine lists.
Agree.
Good. I mean, it should be. I mean, now it's kind of weird, and all the old people. Uh, when I say old people, I'm talking about people like me, who are like, we joke about it. My reps and I were like, what do you think is like the Cru Beaujolais of the like Gen Z sommelier is? Because like this is like a millennial sommeliers thing, like Cru Beaujolais. Because like when we're coming up in the game, we're like, holy shit, Cru Beaujolais. Like that's where it's at. That's where you get most bang for your buck. It's delicious wine. Everybody loves it. But now it's like, what is that thing for Gen Z sommeliers? Like, like Beaujolais has gotten, like we were just talking about it, just in 5 years. Like, look at how expensive Beaujolais has gotten. Like, what is that thing for?
A Gen Z didn't drink.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Gen Z's Beaujolais is ketamine.
Yes. I thought they just took edibles and went on their phones and stayed in their room. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe no. There is no such thing as Gen Z sommeliers because Gen Zs don't believe it.
That's what I was just going to ask. Is there going to be like a shortage of sommeliers because Gen Z is not going to come in and take the place?
I mean, there definitely already is. Like a lot of, at least the restaurant operators I've talked to and managers and different people I've talked to are like, yeah, it's hard to find good sommeliers because they all left during the pandemic. Like myself included. I haven't gone back into the restaurant after the pandemic, Not that I'm like a great sommelier, but like, like I was a som on the floor and then I never went back, like a lot of people just have kind of dropped out and just never went back.
Well, it's got to be tough now because you're trying to curate a list with the prices being so high and you can't probably get the quality that you want to get for the price point you want to get. And it's pretty challenging.
And then we also talk about it, like these kind of reference point wines. And I understand, especially with the, rise of a natural wine, there's less of, I don't want to say less respect, but like, there's definitely wine programs that are less built on classic wines. It's more of like fun, weird, like different stuff that's out there, which I welcome, which is great. But also part of that problem is that wines have gotten so expensive, particularly the reference point wines have gotten so expensive, classic wines. A lot of these young guys that are coming up, like they don't have an opportunity to taste those. And it's like only way for you to know these wines is for you to taste them. And unless you are working for like really high-end restaurants where they're like cellaring their own wines for a long time, like you're not gonna have an opportunity to taste those anymore. Like that opportunity is getting smaller and smaller. So like the general knowledge base of the sommelier, young sommeliers, is getting smaller and smaller. Like they honestly just can't afford to. They don't have the opportunity to taste them, which is really a shame. So
Well, I would imagine though that the patrons also, I mean, if like the younger generations are drinking less and right, so I don't know, it's just interesting like what the demand will be.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean we were talking the other night about, you know, like you go to these I was saying I go to these work receptions and the
yeah,
wine
yeah, yeah.
absolute shit and everybody drinks it and they're fine drinking it. Like nobody's even
Right.
complaining about how bad the wine
Yeah.
is. Um, you know, there's already a sort of minority of people in the world who are have discernment around the wine that they drink. And then,
Yeah.
you know, is that minority going to get even smaller as less people are drinking or less people are
Uh,
exposed to it? I mean, it's interesting, right? Like, is how much is the demand going to be there for
yeah.
people that are knowledgeable about wine, want to
Yeah.
drink good wine? I don't know.
Right.
Be interesting to see how
I
it.
hope not, but yeah, I think you're totally right. I
I
feel
mean,
like
I'm going to be drinking it until they put me in the ground.
that's
So
right. It's
I'm
it's
going to do
us
my
millennials
part.
who have to hold it up. We got to keep up the consumption level.
I will do my part.
One thing I've noticed is like at restaurants now, unless it's like a restaurant where wine is like their thing and they know what they're doing, I don't want it because I want to pay $18 for something that I know
Yeah.
isn't very good. So I usually get a beer to go with the food because it's half the
Yeah.
price. And with the beer, it's like I guess my palate's probably not as good with beer, but sometimes it's just as good an accompaniment to food. And I'm not
Yeah.
spending $18 for something I know that isn't that good. But I get a perfectly good bottle of
Yeah.
wine for $24
I
at
mean, but
home.
also living in a place like Seattle, you do have an access to excellent beers out there. So
Yes. Oh, the beer here is awesome. And I,
yeah.
I I had thought I was done with beer when we left DC. I was like, it upsets my stomach, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
breweries are
Exactly. Very,
fantastic.
very, very, very good
Yeah.
beers out there. Um, yeah, I don't
So
know. It's
the other thing we've noticed, I've met a couple people.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh no, I was going to say the other thing we've noticed. We met a couple people who, I mean, some people really go like they'll do weekends in Walla Walla or Yakima, um, because they're really into Washington State wines, and people say like, oh, the Casa and the Costco's around here will get a lot of like good deals on Washington State wines, and they're very big, big reds, which is good. But at this, the one thing I also noticed is there's a lot of skepticism towards like natural
Yeah.
wines that I've noticed from people that work in the wine industry. It's like it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's like it's not actually good winemaking, and it's been interesting because I definitely we have a friend like he's insane, but he was very like oh natural wine,
Yeah, I mean the
which is kind of
natural
funny.
wine. I mean it's an ongoing, ever-going, perennial conversation that we always have. People who work in natural wine is that like I think it's gotten too popular, too mainstream for its own good now, and then because it's gotten
Mhm.
so popular, everybody else jumped on that like bandwagon. And just
Sure,
like everything else, there's like a lot of shitty, terribly made natural wines out there. And then that just gets lumped into what a natural wine is. And oftentimes, I've also, my take is that people who are not, who are just making a blanket statement like all natural wines are fucking terrible or it's a gimmick, is oftentimes haven't really taken the time to understand what natural wine is. I mean, which is also a hard thing to say because there's no definition of natural wine. But yeah, it's an ongoing, ever going conversation. Uh, but yeah, to Kirsten's question or point about like the wine spectrum, I feel like it's like the same way I feel about restaurants. I feel like there's always going to be like the fine end, super high end restaurants are going to be fine. They will always be there. They will always exist. And then like the low end takeout, like the restaurants will also be fine. They'll always be there. They'll do fine. I think it's really the middle that's getting squeezed. And then I think same thing is going to happen with wine. This is like either everybody's going to be, I mean, which is most of them anyway. Like like 90% of the wine revenue or wine spending in this country is spent under $10 bottles. Like just give you an idea of how much people drink shitty, just like commercially made bulk wine. So like I think that sector is going to continue to grow and bigger. And then the like super high end, like the allocated that level is going to grow. But I think that in the middle, it's going to get squeezed, which means kind of all the things you guys are talking about, like a really fun, well thought, thoughtfully curated, like a fun wine program, small but well thought out wine program at like a neighborhood bar. That's becoming harder and harder to keep it at a right price point, because everything's getting too expensive. You either gotta make your wines like premium and go like the other way, or you gotta make it like go the other way and just make it like as cheap as you possibly can. So that's just the trend that I see personally. So yeah, and I don't know what the solution to that is. Like, unless there's a huge demand for that coming. I mean, there's going to be reckoning for sure. There's going to be correction that's going to happen for sure. It's got to happen. I mean, it's already kind of happening in places like California and in France as well. But yeah, there's going to be a glut in wine production, grape production. The wine prices are going to have to crash at some point. And it's all going to happen. But yeah. Anyways, who knows? This is just my opinion, my prediction. Was there anything for most of you on this call right now have joined Beauj Box for many years? Was there something new that you learned this year's Beauj Box, or like something new, whether it be like particularly about this one crew, like I didn't know about this crew really until this year, or like any of the real nerdy stuff, like like semi-carbonic versus full carbonic. I didn't really think about that until like it finally connected, like these dots connected this year. Like was there something that popped up this year versus in the past?
I think the thing that like locked in for me was like which ones have the volcanic soil, and that
Yeah.
like why those tend to be my favorite crew.
Yeah. You're like, why do I like these crews so much more than the others?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the volcanic soil, right?
Yeah.
That for sure. And I think also I feel like with the tastings this year, I've been like, okay, I do actually like understand what I'm gonna taste in Beaujolais.
Yeah.
Like I
Good.
feel pretty solid on like what the floral is going to be and what you know what I mean? Like I feel like that has locked in also.
Perfect.
I mean, it only took 6 years, but
It's all right, watch now. You can just blind taste Beaujolais. I'm like, this is Beaujolais. Like you'll be able to tell.
I don't know about that. All right, we're gonna have to drop off because Nate is at his spring formal. So we like squeeze this in between drop off at the formal and pick up at the formal. So I'm gonna have to get him in a few minutes so he doesn't get in any trouble. But it's good to see everybody.
Bye.
Sounds good. Bye. You moved back inside, Terry.
Yeah, it was getting chilly, and the dog was being the dick out there. He has beef with the corgis that live behind us, and kept like freaking out.
All good.
This one's been hunting a rat in our backyard that's I think under the deck or under the mower. And every morning for the past 3 days, I let her out and she's like, I don't need to pee. I just need to hunt this rat. I'm like, no, you need to pee.
Does she
hasn't caught it. She hasn't caught it yet, though. I'm waiting. She needs to do it while Steph's home because I don't want to deal with it. Steph needs to get rid of it.
With a dead rat corpse.
Has she ever caught one?
She killed a mouse in our house once, which I was shocked at.
I'm pretty sure on a walk with Mavid, between the two of them, she was the one who killed a bird.
One of these two killed a bird in the dog park.
Wow.
Which made me sad. But
also impressive.
And then my old geriatric pit bull killed a baby possum in our backyard here, Lucy. And she was old.
Lucy had a very strong hunt drive, though.
Yeah.
I mean, possum, I feel like I can understand because don't they like play dead? Is there like a defense mechanism?
Yeah, it must not have been hard because she was like 14 years old.
Yeah, like that I can get. Like my dog goes ape shit over cats, squirrels, birds sometimes, but he's
Oh,
way too
remember why
slow
Lucy caught
to
that
catch
feral
anything.
cat by the leg?
Oh yeah, our old pit when she was younger, we were out in my dad's house in West Virginia, and Steph was walking her, and it was icy, and she saw a feral cat and went after it, and Steph slipped and fell because it was icy, and she caught the cat in its hindquarters,
Wow.
and we eventually got her to let it go, and the cat ran away, but remember, I don't know if you remember,
Her
Lucy
face
came
was
back
so scratched
like this
up.
bloody, and then she smelled like the hormones coming off her from her like kill, but it wasn't a kill. What I was like, I'm a little scared of you. I didn't know you had
Wow.
this in you. She was a pit bull, but a little smaller than this one. So
Yeah.
like 40, 45-pound pit bull. Yeah, I don't know.
But she thought she was bigger than she was. When she was
Most
fighting
of
with
them
something.
do.
Um, okay. Well, maybe there's a hope for all of us. I'm always like, part of me is always like, oh, my dog, one day he will catch a squirrel. Because he tries
Neither
so
of them
hard.
have, they've never caught squirrels.
Yeah. He's like too fucking slow.
Squirrels are too wily.
They
Plus,
can climb.
Tink is too lazy.
She is.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the pitties I've owned that like they would like jump and like land it on their back trying to catch a squirrel. It's fucking hilarious.
They're really good at looking dumb doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Way dumb.
Our dog once brought me a baby bunny.
Oh.
So sad.
I mean,
It was
so sad, but also like I don't know, kind of proud too. Like, wow, look
He
at
was very proud, and I didn't know what it was. I just thought he had like a something, and I reached to grab it out of his mouth, and I felt this like like a ligament kind of turn and twist, and I
oh,
like
Oh
it was
no.
terrible. I like lost my mind, and yeah.
what
But
did you do?
he was very pleased when he came in the house.
What did you do with the rabbit?
What's that?
What did you do with the rabbit? Did you like throw it in the
I
trash can?
it just went in the garbage or something. I don't even know what did we do.
Put it in the trash.
Okay, I was like, we might have wrapped it in a poop bag or something. It was poor thing.
I remember once in high school where I lived in Southern California, Orange County, there's like shit ton of rabbits for some reason in my city. Um, and I ran over a tiny little bunny when I was driving, and it was fucking stuck to the tire, so I had to go like peel it off the tire.
Oh,
Oh my God. Awful.
And I was like on the side of the fucking like a road somewhere, and it's like I could dug the ground, like stuck it in there, and then I could bury the rabbit. And hook up. I just remember that when I was like 15, 16, something like that.
I have
It
this
was-
weird like childhood trauma memory.
No,
Well, it
you're-
actually happened
you're-
when I
Rio is the-
I'm